guys, welcome to Watch These Films. I'm your host, Bianca Barnett. Alright, today we're going to be talking about a film called The Prowler, filmed in 1981. The director of this film is named Joseph Zito, and I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly. Alright, this film was made in 1980, released in 81. Tom Savini actually did the special effects, so all you gore fans out there will probably be really excited about that. If you haven't seen it, you might go out and check it out. The film starts with a flashback to 1945, okay? Rosemary and her date, they're at the graduation dance, and they sneak off to get a little freaky, and they end up being brutally murdered by a man with a pitchfork. Okay, romantic, huh? So, people didn't know who the killer was. It was thought to be a jilted soldier, possibly, back from the war. The killer was never found. But from a letter in the beginning, we find out that Rosemary actually has scorned a lover, soldier, overseas that she was either engaged to or supposed to wait for. And she must have just needed to get freaky immediately and cast him aside for someone else. She just could not wait any longer. It happens. Okay, so as I said, the killer was never found. And then the graduation dances were not held for 30 or more years. So flash forward to the future, 1980, baby! So this is the first graduation dance that has been held, in over 30 years. I guess the murder was just too horrifying and they couldn't imagine the thought of, having another graduation dance. And I'm not sure, I'm assuming it's college, but Netflix had said they were teens, so I was like, oh, 19 or so, that's college age, right? But they look a lot older. But as we learned from Slaughter High, you can be in your 40s and be in high school, so that's the magic of Hollywood. But this film is actually not filmed in Hollywood. This one is filmed on the East Coast in New Jersey. And it is very beautiful, shot very well. I love the locations, just these beautiful old houses on the East Coast. I love it over here. I never thought I could be an East Coast girl, but because I lived in California for so long and then I lived in Texas, I was born and raised. But now I live in the Mid-Atlantic region, moving back to Austin in about 10 weeks or so. But anyway, enough about me. Back to the movie. So, it's the big night of the dance. The sheriff of this small town is adamant about going on a fishing trip tonight. Okay? He's not taking no for an answer from anyone. And he puts this pervy deputy in charge, of course, right? Who's trying to, get in the pants of all the girls on campus. Well, I guess that's what you do in a small town when there is no internet or anything else to do. So anyway, flash forward, not in the future, but the future of the film. The party's going on, right? And there's partying and dancing and there's great 70s, late 70s, early 80s fluffy polyester dresses that I just love. I do love them, actually. I have a few. I own bell bottoms too. And that nice Breck hair, I call it Breck hair because that was like the shampoo, I guess, at the time. I found all these old advertisements from magazines from the 70s and 80s and they always advertised Breck. And the hair is all fluffy and awesome. There's some puking, but there's not enough partying. Excuse me, there's not enough partying in my opinion. I like my horror films to be a little more wild and have more sex and partying and drugs and everything else. But that being said, there is cool music from a band called, wait for it, Nowhere Fast. Okay, they're like a rock band. They're not like a metal rock band, but they're like a, almost like a progressive rock type of thing. I don't know what else to call it. That's what it sounded like to me. But there's like a balding dude in the band. He's like super uber cool. And they're all wearing like big sunglasses and they look like they're in their 40s at least. So that's awesome. They have a song called Disco Blood, dude. It's cool. So anyway, there's not a lot of nudity in this film or sex, but there is a shower scene. So if you guys are privy to those, then you might check it out and get your rocks off or something, I don't know. There's also a chick that gets her panties in a wad because that pervy deputy like bumped into her and she gets pissed off and like has to go change, and it's such a pain in the ass, right? So she goes to change and anyway, she gets killed. So that's what happens when you wander off. So if you get knocked into at a party, just stay at the party. Okay, so there's this crazy chick that decides she wants to get in her bra and panties and go swimming. Her name is Bianca. Just kidding. I like a good night swim in my bra and panties. But this scene's actually kind of cool. She gets murdered and her throat slashed. But it reminds me of that Baba film, Blood and Black Lace, where the model dies in the bathtub and she has her throat slashed. And it's really pretty, like the blood just... Now this scene isn't as beautiful or anything, you know, because Baba is just such a master. But it's pretty cool. There's also another cool scene. There's a cemetery, and I love cemeteries, especially old cemeteries. They're my favorite. I have like a weird fetish for that stuff. There's a coffin that they find in the plot they can exhume it. I don't know if it was just being buried and they were like, oh, I wasn't really paying attention to that part, but for some reason they get down there and open it up. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be the soldier. That's probably what it is, right? The soldier that they think is the murderer or whatever. But they don't find him, of course, in the casket. I won't tell you who they find. You have to watch it and see. So this is more of a mystery, actually, rather than a... I mean, it has a lot of slasher elements. There are several deaths. And some are pretty gory, especially the end death where if someone's head gets blown up like a fucking watermelon, which is badass. Good job, Tom Savini. I didn't expect it at all. The film has great lighting. The locations are great. The acting is good. The writing is pretty good. It's a little slow. That's the only problem I had with it. Like I said, I was kind of losing interest when I was watching it, but the ending, it kind of makes up for it, you know. There's not enough sex, or... I like my slasher films either really just kind of cheesy, like so cheesy that even if it's not supposed to be funny, it's funny, you know what I mean? So, anyway, so I won't tell you the ending because I don't want to give you any spoilers, but for me, like I said, it wasn't boring, but it was just a little bit slow in parts. I mean, but it might be worth a rent. I watched it and I thought it had some cool parts to it. So there are a lot of kills. Tom Savini, like I said, did the effects. It's shot beautifully. I love film. I miss it. Don't you miss film? I'm kind of tired of digital, though. It's a blessing and a curse. It keeps me employed. Anyway, but 2 out of 5 stars. I would check it out if you are a huge Savini fan or a huge slasher film fan, or you like mysteries, or you just like that time era. It's not really a comedy. It's more straight-laced. But you might check it out. That's The Prowler, 1981. I'm Bianca Barnett, and I'll see you next weekend. Have a good one.